welcome back to my channel. My name is Rachel. I am doing the BookTube Newbie Tag. I wanted to do this tag because obviously I'm new to BookTube, but I have been watching BookTube for forever, and just YouTube in general. I feel like I watch more YouTube than I do of almost any other form of media aside from books. But yeah, I wanted to go ahead and do the BookTube Newbie Tag for you guys today. I'm just gonna get right into it. I don't want the video to be super long, so I'm gonna go ahead and start with the first question. Why did I start this channel? I have been wanting to make a YouTube channel since I started watching YouTube years and years and years ago. I think I want to say the first thing that I ever watched on YouTube was BookTube, and so I started slowly dipping my feet into the whole, sharing books on the internet with Bookstagram. And so I have my Bookstagram, I'll put that here, and then I went to TikTok, and that is right here. It's the same, Rachel's_novels. And so then I wanted to branch out and share my love for reading on YouTube and do a little bit more long form content, talk more about books in depth, and just have fun on here. Question number 2 is, what are some fun or unique things that you can bring to BookTube? So I own a pop-up bookstore. It's called Pour Over Prose, and I also live full-time in an RV. So I feel like between those two things, hopefully my channel won't be absolutely dull. Hopefully there'll be some fun stuff that I can bring you guys along with me, whether it be a market or something crazy that's happening with my RV, because I swear it's like every other day something is happening with it. But yeah, I feel like that will be fun. Showing you guys what full-time living in an RV looks like, and also owning a pop-up bookstore and doing markets almost every week. Question 3 is, what am I most excited for about this channel? I think I'm just most excited to connect with people about books on yet another platform. I love Instagram, but it really is just kind of like, a picture place, and you don't really get, at least for me, I haven't really gotten that connection with people quite yet. And TikTok is a little bit deeper. I think I do talk to people on there about books, and I have been able to make some, TikTok friends and whatever, but I really hope that here, because it's more long form content and you can really hear what people have to say and see their personalities and just things like that, that hopefully I will make some more bookish friends and be able to talk more about books. So question number 4 is, why do you love reading? I love reading because when I read, it's like a movie playing in my head. Like, I can put a book down and step away, and like an hour later I'll be like, what show was that I was watching, or what movie was I watching? I like really want to get back to that, and I'll be like, oh my god, it was a book that I was reading. I was like, I have to go pick that back up or something, because it literally is, like I said, it's like a movie that plays in my head. I can see things so vividly in my mind, and I just love that experience. And I'm not a big movie person. I do love TV shows, but I don't know, there's just something about sitting down with a good book and just really engulfing yourself in a story that just brings me so much joy. Question number 5 is, what book got you into reading? I can't really say for sure what book got me into reading, because ever since I can remember, I've always been a reader. I've always read. I have never not had books in my life. I talked to my mom about this recently, and she was like, yeah, you've just always liked to read, She's like, I couldn't really pick one either. So I don't really have anything in particular. Things that stand out to me though, when I was like in middle school and high school, obviously Twilight was huge, and the Hunger Games, but even then, before then, when I was younger, things like Junie B. Jones, or that one book is like the Sideways Stories of Wayside High or something like that, and the Magic Tree House, and just things like that, book series like that really got me, I guess, hooked. I don't know, like I said, I can't remember. I just remember always having a book with me to read. Question number 6 is, what question would I ask my favorite booktuber? And because I've been watching BookTube for so long, my favorite booktubers don't actually make BookTube videos anymore. My favorite booktuber of all time was probably Raylene, or Padfoot and Prongs 07, I think was her name. And then her and Ariel Bissett actually started a podcast, and I have been a longtime listener of their podcast. So I guess if I could ask them anything, it would just be, I don't really think it would be a question more so than like a thank you for keeping me engaged and keeping me wanting to read. As I grew up, I was always picking up books that you guys were recommending, and yeah, it was just a really fun time for me, and it was like the first time that I ever saw people talking about books so passionately in the way that I loved reading and I loved books, and it was just so cool to see. And like I said, I am a longtime listener of their podcast. I still listen to their podcast. It's just really cool to see them grow, and they're only a couple years older than me, so it's just really fun to see them still be friends and still talk about books. Question number 7, I believe, is I'm reading them. What challenge do you think starting a BookTube channel will be the hardest to overcome? And I think it will probably be, I don't know, I feel like I have like maybe 2, more on like a physical aspect. I think having the space to film. Like, this is the only part in my entire RV that I have books that are easily visible. And I know that you don't have to have books in your videos, but I also know that it's more appealing to see, when people have books in their BookTube videos. So I think that that's the most challenging part, I think, as far as like physically, because all of my books are stored right now. Again, because I live full-time in an RV, I just don't have space for them. But otherwise, I think maybe just the amount of time that it takes to make YouTube videos and make them well. I have a full-time job, and I own the pop-up bookstore, and I do markets almost every single week. And obviously now I'm doing YouTube and my TikTok, which again is like whatever, it's not that great. And like Bookstagram, same thing. It's there, I try, but it's just a lot. It's very time consuming, so I try my best. Question number 8 kind of goes into one of the previous questions, but was, when did I start reading? And again, I literally can't remember a time that I wasn't reading. My aunt is a teacher, she was a teacher, and I just always remember her taking me to the bookstore, or my grandma taking me to the library. Again, like just always having a book in my hand, so I don't really have a specific age, I would say. Question number 9 is, where do you read? I read everywhere. Literally everywhere. I read at work on my lunch, I read on my couch, I read in my bed, I read outside, I read at my boyfriend's house, I read at wineries, I read at parks, I read at coffee shops. Anywhere that I have time to read, I will read. At one point in my life, I was literally reading on my phone, standing in line at grocery stores. I had to stop. I was like, that's insane. I need to calm down. I was like, I will have time. So I no longer do that, but I do read pretty much anywhere else I can physically read. Question number 10 is, what kinds of books do I like to read? I will read pretty much anything as long as it sounds interesting. I love lit fic, I love fantasy, I love sci-fi, I love horror, I love, I won't say I love historical fiction, but I have read and enjoyed historical fiction, romance. Again, if it sounds interesting, if the premise sounds good, I will read it. I will read anything. So question number 11 is, who are some of your favorite booktubers? And like I said before, they are no longer booktubers. Ariel Bissett is still on YouTube, and Raylene does stuff through their Patreon for their book club. But if I am picking from currently, I would probably say maybe Sarah Caroli. She is probably one of my favorites. I feel like her lit fic preferences really align with my lit fic preferences. I also really like to I also really like to watch, what is his name? I also really like to watch Phil's Got Books. I think that's his YouTube handle. Just like off the top of my head. I know it's horrible. There's only 2, but I forget everything, so. Question number 12 is, what is a book that I always recommend? It changes for every person. Again, I like to read pretty much anything, so I just kind of figure out what people like to read themselves, and then I'll recommend a book based off of what they tell me. But I guess I could name a few. So for more like obscure horror kind of vibes, I would probably recommend Tender's the Flesh. I think that book is phenomenal. It's so like just creepy and like ugh, like but I love it. It's so good. I just read Atmosphere by Taylor Jenkins Reid, and I would probably recommend that to almost anybody. And then also Remarkably Bright Creatures. That book is amazing. It's sad, but it's really good. And then as far as like maybe fantasy goes, if you're getting into fantasy, I think obviously like the big ones like ACOTAR or Fourth Wing are obviously #1 picks for people. But yeah, I think it just kind of depends on what you're into and what you like to read, and then I can kind of figure out what to recommend. I believe it's question number 13 is, what is your current reading goal, or what books are currently on your TBR? I don't really have a structured TBR. I'm a mood reader, like a huge mood reader. It's just whatever I feel, that's what I'm reading. So my TBR is basically just every physical book that I have never read, or every book that's on my Kobo, every book that I have on audio, and pretty much every book that's want to read on my Goodreads. That's my TBR. So it is hundreds, hundreds and hundreds of books. I guess I'll just talk more about like my current reading goal. I used to change my reading goal every year, and I just decided like a year or two ago that I was just gonna pick 50 books for my year of reading every single year, because I know that 50 books for me is an attainable goal. There have been years where I've read more than 50, there have been years where I've read less than 50, and so I know that 50 is a good obtainable goal for myself, and I just set that as my goal, and if I reach it, great. If I don't, that's okay, because for me, reading is a fluctuating scale, it's not consistent. I like to read, and I read when I want to read. I read when I'm bored, I read when I'm not bored, I read when, whatever. So for me, reading is not like this have to do, it's more just like I really want to enjoy these works of art that people have written, and as many as I can get to in my lifetime is great. But 50 books is my comfortable level. So this year I have surpassed that. I believe I've read maybe 55 or 56 books this year. So hopefully, I'll get to like maybe 70. And we'll see. That's the most I think I've ever read in 1 year. It's like maybe like 72 or something like that. So maybe I'll read around that range. But this year, and probably next year and the year after that, my goal will be 50. Thank you guys so much for watching this video, this bookish get to know me, or the newbie BookTube tag. I really hope you guys enjoyed my videos and that you guys come back for more. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I hope to see you guys in my next video. Bye!